In a previous video, I mentioned to you that I asked Trevor from Big Dog Solar to give me an itemized list of equipment that they were going to install at my home. This is the list. We're going to go down this list and help you understand why we chose the components that we did and things that you may want to consider when you're choosing components for your installation system, whether it's a do-it-yourself system or a contractor installed system. In an off-grid system or a grid tie with battery backup, there are really four major components. Those are the solar panels, the charge controller, the inverter, and the batteries. So you want to make sure you do your homework right in choosing these four critical items. That being said, the racking system that you're going to use, the quality of the cabling, the battery rack with venting, all those other things are also very important and need to be taken a close look at too when you're designing your system. So let's go through item by item and take a look at what I have being installed in my house here. You can see that I have 21 Radox 250 watt polypropylene panels installed in my system. There are a lot of different kind of panels that you can buy made from all over the world, primarily in China, and they each have their pros and cons. The first thing that a lot of people look at is the price per watt. They want to get that as low as possible. I too am also a price conscious buyer, but I don't necessarily want the cheapest panels if that's what's going to be producing my electricity for my house. But let's just take a look at an example here on a particular website that I have no affiliation with, but just was doing some searching on solar panels. Here they have for 95 cents a watt, which is a good low price. As you can see, solar panel pricings are somewhere around $1 to $1.25 or so per watt. They have a 255 watt panel. So the price for that panel is $241. This is a Astron Energy 255 watt silver poly panel. Of course, you would not just buy off price. You want to look at the quality of the product that you're buying and get some more information and specs on that product. For example, here they mentioned that it is the CHMS 6610P panel. Well, that's excellent, because then we should be able to just go over to the manufacturer's website and get all the specs for this particular panel. And this is where doing your homework really pays off. You really need to know what you're getting. This particular manufacturer is quite interesting because they have 4 different models with the same part number, all with different specs. So if you're going to buy your solar panels from a discount or a wholesale website, how do you know which panel you're getting? Would you even know to ask which panel you're getting? As we dig down a little bit more, we find out that this particular manufacturer is a Chinese manufacturer, which doesn't necessarily mean bad, but certainly isn't known for quality. Let's take a look at the panels that I've chose to have in my system. The panels that I chose and that Big Dog Solar is installing and recommended, to their credit, are high performance solar panels. This company has been building solar panels in the United States for over 20 years. These panels get more power per square foot than average panels do. I'll explain to you why. They're very durable, which is important to me because here in Idaho we get hailstorms. I don't want to pay 95 cents a watt or even 9 cents a watt if my solar panels are going to break with an annual hailstorm. As we compare panels, this has one of the highest efficiency ratings of any panel I have seen. Most of them are down in the 13% range. It has the standard 10-year product warranty with a 25-year linear power output warranty. Here we have the temperature ratings, and it indicates the normal operating cell temperature. I kind of chuckle when people comment on my YouTube channel saying you should use mirrors on your panels and that will double the output of your panels. Well, apparently they don't understand. When you use mirrors on your solar panels, you're going to be heating up the panels, and the hotter the panels are, the less productive they are. So don't destroy your panels, don't damage your panels, And don't reduce your output by putting mirrors around your solar panels, or any other reflective device for that matter. This information here is pretty standard industry-wide, but this information down here isn't. Let's take a look at the glass. This particular manufacturer has an anti-reflection surface treatment, and that's the reason why these are such high-performance panels. Does it really make any difference if you have an anti-reflection treatment on the glass? According to the Non-Reflection Please article in PV Magazine, they state an anti-reflective coating, ARC, can be important in increasing a module's output power. And over here at pveducation.org, they have a great article on the importance of having non-reflection coatings on your solar panels. Now, if you were doing this by yourself and didn't have a reputable company to work with, would you even know to look for a panel that has anti-reflection coating on it? As we look at all of the different models of the Chinese-made panel that we were discussing, none of them have any kind of anti-reflection coating on them. Coming back to the panels that we're getting, we have a double layer high resistant polymer for the back sheet. Everything about this panel is high quality, even the junction box. By the way, you'll notice, for anybody interested about EMP protection, that this junction box has 4 bypass diodes. Those are the only things in an EMP or electromagnetic pulse that would be damaged. Simply go down to Radio Shack, pick up some of those and keep them on hand in your Faraday bag, and you'll be able to replace those in the event of an EMP. Of course, you need to keep your controllers and inverters and all other electronic items in a Faraday bag to protect from an EMP also. So I do have extra controllers and inverters protected from an EMP. But getting back on topic, you can see there are a lot of things to consider choosing your solar panels. And you can see why I really like the recommendation that Trevor gave me on these panels. US made, 25-year guarantee. That means that they will produce a minimum of 80% or more of the rated power in 25 years. This has an anti-reflective treatment on the panels, and they're very, very durable. And I especially like that I'm supporting a US-based company. The next section here on the quote have to do with the rack mount system. I go into more detail and show you the exact rack mount system that we have on my property here. Just so you know that the brand Snap & Rack is a leader in the solar mounting racking system. The next thing we're looking at are 2, not 1, Outback FM60 MPPT charge controllers. Now, you may not need 2 charge controllers. It's important to balance the charge controllers with the battery bank. And so that we get a good ratio of charge controllers to the battery bank, we have 2 installed in here. These FlexMat series charge controllers from Outback are world-renowned for quality and support. They are the workhorse of the industry. There are other good quality manufacturers also. Again, this is a US-based company. They manufacture these out of Oregon, not down south in Australia. And I really like that it is a MPPT charge controller. It really can increase the output of the array by 30%. As with all true MPPT charge controllers, is that these controllers monitor the output of the solar panels, matching with the batteries, and making the necessary changes as the batteries are used and discharged, and as the panels fluctuate in the amount of amperage that they produce. Another advantage with this is that it's very flexible. You can go anywhere between a 12 volt to 60 volt system. So you may start out with thinking, well, I just want a 12 volt system, then realize, hey, I really should have a 48 volt system here in the US to minimize the cost on copper wiring and converting from DC to AC power, so I don't lose so much power in that conversion. These controllers can grow with you. Outback does not just make charge controllers for solar panels, but they have an entire product line that is completely integrated, so they work hand in hand. I really like getting the same brand all the way through. Although mixing brands will work, but I like using the same brand of controller and inverter because they're designed to communicate well with each other. I love that this controller has 128 days of data logging. If you've watched many of my videos, you know how anal retentive I am and how I measure, document, test, and record everything that I do. And being able to know how much power I'm producing, how much I'm using, how much I'm sending to the utility company with a grid tie system, that's all very, very important to me. Without that data, I don't know which things I need to adjust to maximize my production. At any rate, I'm very sold on the Outback product line. I've been researching and dabbling and using solar for several years now. In my opinion, it'd be really hard to go wrong with any products made from Outback. As I mentioned, one of the advantages of going with Outback is they have a complete integrated system, as you can see with these items that I've outlined here. To me, that's a huge advantage in making sure everything's working well together. We also have selected the Outback GS4048A battery inverter and battery bank charger. I love that I can have my battery inverter and charger in one unit. It is fully flexible, allowing you to have a grid tie or off-grid system with the same inverter. Knowing my power needs, we only need a 4,000 watt continuous power. 8,000 watts would be nice, but that's way more than what we're using and not necessary at my off-grid home. Surge protection is very important with me. I know that we have a lot of lightning strikes in this area, and I want something that will clamp down quickly and protect my entire system and the batteries in my home from surges. A big reason why I went with Big Dog Solar is because I can give them the capability of adjusting the inputs and outputs remotely from their location, and I can monitor what they're doing and I can make adjustments myself. This gives us complete control in tweaking and maximizing the output and productivity of the system. This feature right here is very important to me, and something that you may really want to consider, is the ability to be able to charge your battery bank with a portable generator. This dual AC input allows me to do that. In addition to that, I can charge the batteries from the grid or my generator without having to do any external switching at all. It just happens automatically. So if for some reason I'm off grid and the sun hasn't shone for 5 days and I need to charge up my battery bank, I can simply pull out my generator, plug it into the propane line that I have, because I have a propane, natural gas, and gasoline conversion kit on my generator. I'll have a link below this video so you can see that. Then within about 4 hours, I can completely charge my entire battery bank. By the way, every person that I know that is off-grid and is living day-to-day through their solar panel system has a reliable generator. As with all items in prepping, 1 is none and 2 is 1. So don't just completely rely on a generator for your power. Don't completely rely on solar for your power. Make sure you have a backup, because you never know when you might need it. These two items right here integrate everything together in one seamless system and allow me to completely control everything remotely and to also log and track the productivity of my system. Cabling is a big issue with solar panels. If you undersize your cable, you will not have enough power being able to flow through the cables for your home. You may have a great big solar panel system, a huge battery system, but if the cables going from the battery bank to your power panel in your home are not sufficient, you will not be able to draw the power that you need. Fortunately, with how we're designing our system, and I'll show you as we install it, my battery bank is literally 3 feet away from my circuit breaker box. So we're using heavy-duty 4/0 cable, but we don't need a lot of it. Now let's take a look at batteries, and maybe I need a separate video completely for just batteries, and I may just do that. But here we've chosen the 430 amp hour Crown brand batteries. We're building 2 parallel strings that will give us a 48 volt system. These are heavy-duty, serious solar panel batteries. These are great for having an off-grid or battery backup system. These are 6 volt deep cycle batteries, and that's the reason why we're doing a parallel and series battery bank in order to get the voltage up to where we want it. If you're going to be ordering your own batteries, something to keep in mind is don't just buy the batteries at the cheapest price, but also consider any shipping costs. Freight itself on 16 batteries can cost several $100s, as indicated on this website here, with the disclaimer and caution to make sure that you email them or call them to make sure you get the proper shipping cost. One of the biggest mistakes people do is they'll go down to Walmart and they'll buy some marine batteries that's quote-unquote deep cycle batteries. I guarantee you that is not what you want to be doing when your entire home and off-grid system depends on being able to store that energy and cycle that battery for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Another thing that I like about having this installed is that I don't have to build the battery rack. And I really like that they included a disconnect in the quote. These kind of little things are a big indicator to me how knowledgeable and professional a contractor is. I didn't have to ask for the disconnect. It's super important, in my opinion, to be able to quickly and easily disconnect the batteries for service, but they designed it into the bid and they're venting the entire rack. So what does this complete system cost? We're talking 21 250 watt US made high performance solar panels. We're talking the top of the line outback charge controllers and inverters. We're talking about 16 430 amp hour batteries. With complete install, the contractor is taking care of all permits, all inspections, building it to code, contacting the utility company, doing all the cabling, wiring, testing, tweaking, and follow-up. What does that system cost? From concept, design engineering, and complete install, the entire system contracted price is $30,000. That to me is a great price. Now the good news is that's the contracted price, but that doesn't include the federal and state tax incentives for going off-grid or using green energy. I will do a video detailing the federal and state tax incentives that can save you and will save you thousands of dollars on your solar panel system. So as coal mines close and the cost of energy goes up, my cost will never go up. What we decided to do in order to take advantage of these federal tax incentives now before they go away, because I feel once traditional energy is so expensive, everybody's going to be going to alternative energy, there'll be no reason for the federal or state governments to give a tax incentive. We were able to easily acquire a line of credit on our house, and our monthly payment for this entire system is $85 over a 15-year period. What I love about that is we know exactly every single month what our utility bill will be. We know that it won't be going up, and at any time that we want to pay that off early, we can. And once that's paid off, we have no more utility bill. But we still have all the power we need and more. So this is a great fit for my wife and me. You'll need to work out the math for yourself to see if it works for you, but it just made sense for us. Just to give you an idea, the previous owner of this home was paying $149.49 on average every month for the last 12 months. Our utility bill will be about half that. I hope this video has been helpful in identifying the different components of a solar power system. I hope it has been helpful in helping you decide what features that are important to you when you design or have your system designed for you. And I hope it's been helpful in helping you decide whether you want to do it do-yourself system or have it contractor installed. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. And I hope this video has helped you become more prepared to go off-grid.